Yeah. So you go to the hotel.
Or you get to the hotel, there's like a bus you. Like you can either take the bus or you just drive up there or whatever. I can't remember what it was called.
Yeah.
But it was just, you go there and that's your training. They're giving you 4 days. And as much as, people always look at where they've come from and jobs they liked and stuff they didn't like from it. And there's loads of stuff I look back on, I'm like, that was mad. I can't believe I was doing that. But that training of this is how you close a deal from a sales, just from, the basic principles of sales, how to build a rapport with somebody, how to work out getting the free yeses out of somebody when asking questions and things like that.
Free yeses? I don't know.
What's the free yeses? No, so it's if for example, I'm starting to talk to you and I want to build a rapport with you. It's like if I can quickly get you to agree with 3 things, how you doing? Your day been all right? Oh, yeah. Oh, do you want to grab a water? And it's like, so those 3 things now, you've started to build a rapport, you've started to say yes. So it's like now our relationship, even though we didn't have one before, we've now built a positive footing or foundation to work off. So how you're feeling when I now ask you something I actually need from you, you're a lot more likely to reciprocate and say yes because you've built up a pattern of yeses and positivity with that person.
Damn. You was today years old when
I was today years old when I found out about the 3 yeses, bro. Do you think that's helped you today though?
I think not let's say that in isolation, but just the ability to be able to understand and sell and close a deal because I always say there's so many people in my space that know so much more in terms of academically or experience-wise about what they do or what we do in this space in property, but the ability to be able to close a deal, make stuff happen, be able to build rapport with people, kind of, when you're talking to somebody, just assimilate and make sure that, you get something done has really been one of, I'd say, my key go-tos that beyond anything else has made me successful in the field.
But do you think that's always been you though? Do you think that's always been what you were kind of made for? But it just that job kind of brought that out.
Do you know what? I don't even know if I like people. So sometimes people call people no, but bro, I like people.
I don't blame you, bro.
No. Because there's sometimes where you don't like people. There's some way you can feel mad. But some people say, someone's a people pleaser. I feel like I like to be liked, and obviously the ability to build a rapport means somebody's gonna like you. They're a lot more likely to build a relationship. But also, if you're trying to do business, somebody liking you means that's 50% of the battle because
it's easier to navigate.
Business is competitive. So. And especially somewhere that has the potential to make a lot of money is very competitive. So if us 3 all want to buy this same house, but John likes me more than he likes you two, even if your offer's better, your this is better, your that's better, your experience, I may get the deal just off the back of that. So I think, definitely that skill set has really helped me excel.
Like people.
So with business, that's it's funny how you said that because I forgot how the saying goes, but people kind of buy into the person before they actually buy into the business, if you get what I mean. So
it's funny. You know what's funny? Do you know why I know this? I don't want to sound like a 5G guy. I was gonna say
you're gonna bring up my horoscope.
Do you know why the universe is mad? Because I was literally listening to a Nipsey interview today. Because Nipsey's my guy from early before he blew. He was mentioning people because they were just saying to him about the guy. I think the viewer asked him about whether there's so many other platforms out there. Why do artists always focus on radio? And he started talking about people. It's mad how he said people are different, innit? It's certain people. For example, he mentioned his daughter. All she knows is YouTube. So if there's a new song out, the particular platform that she's gonna go to find out that song is gonna be YouTube. And there's some people, all they know, the platform they know is, for example, radio and this and that. So it's funny how when you're mentioning people, it's in terms of, yes, there's 3 of us here, but because I like you, I'm going to tie in with you to get this deal. It's mad, isn't it? It's crazy.
You see it. There's you see it all the time. For example, I'm a personal trainer. I mean, I'm into fitness and stuff like that.
Oh, I didn't know.
There's now you know. There's a lot of personal trainers out there.
Yeah.
Sometimes you sit down and look that person doesn't, not to blow smoke up my own,
backside.
Backside. But sometimes you think, I sit down and think, wow, I've got my degree, this, that, I know my stuff, but that person doesn't look like he knows anything. But how come everyone's going to him?
Yeah.
It's because that person is different. You know what I'm saying? it's not necessarily about what he knows or what he's doing. It's just the person that he is that kind of attracts people. So
yeah, exactly. And you know what's mad again? That's what I'm saying. Like I'm crazy how we're all in tune today. We're all saying the same thing. The first thing on my notes here actually was gonna go to KAZY. As you notice, obviously today, welcome to the show. As you always, Monday night, 6 p.m. We're out here. This is EP 14. Can you imagine, bro? Like EP 14. This journey started in a living room somewhere in a foyer, and now we're here now in a nice setup, and we got, you know, the man himself in the building, property by KAZY. Like, you know, the turnaround was crazy. This is what I'm saying, like, in terms of as successful as he is, as well as he's doing, obviously shout out my guy Dupes for lining this up. And, you know, the turnaround was crazy. He just, you know, accepted our invite. So we appreciate having you here. We got property by KAZY in the building. And this episode here, I know you're used to seeing us like laughing around, and we're still going to do that, but I think we want to leave so many gems today. Like we want you to take something away from this and hopefully go on and be great, because that's what we're doing.
Start with the 3 S's. That's one.
Yeah, start with the 3 S's.
That's
So
one
you
already,
got one already. So we got more to come. So myself, Randy Renz, and we got, you know, one hitter in the building tonight.
Yeah, GK, you know what it is.
And then obviously to my right, I'm gonna let the man introduce himself.
Yeah, Kaz or KAZY from Property by KAZY.
Yeah.
For real.
Yeah, no, for real. Thank you. Welcome to the show, man. Welcome to. I gotta say, I respect this man a lot, because the discipline that he's shown me today, it's like, you know, he just goes to show that he's a man of principles. Before we started the show, he said, "Yo, can I break my fast?" And I said, "How can I say no to that? You think I'm really gonna say to you, no, bro? We gotta start this show now." The man broke his fast, and that for me, when I look at a person, that goes to show the discipline. But why I was saying that we're mad in tune, because we was talking about people and people liking you. You might be better than someone, but people are drawn to you, because I was gonna say you're a successful property developer. I'm gonna let you introduce yourself shortly, but I think it's intriguing because when we look at your portfolio and we look at you as a person, it's like I'm drawn to you because I'm thinking, right, he looks like one of them and them, and this is what he's doing. I want to do that. I want to listen to him. Like, compared to Bob, and who probably knows what he's doing, like has that knowledge passed down from family. But I'm seeing Kaz, I'm thinking he's one of the man them. He might be chatting shit, but his portfolio looks good. Let me listen to him. And the more I listen, I'm like, he's not chatting shit. He actually knows what he's talking about. And, you know, so for people watching us now, like, just, you know, let them know what it is that you do, and then, you know, just take it away, bruv. Like,
okay, I don't know what bio should I give them? Should I give them my
Just
Instagram
give them
bio, my
everything.
Clubhouse bio, my oversell it? Like,
hey,
which
listen,
one am I going for?
Give them the whole lot. Because they need to know. They need to know.
Let me just give you like the
accolades.
what I do. So,
Yeah.
So as you've mentioned, I'm a property developer. I focus on London. I've pretty much done everything within the property sphere. So that includes rent to rent, which is like I'll explain it in more detail.
Yeah,
but
please.
I've sort of built out that business model over the last 5 years. Built a rent-to-rent company, sort of topped out at 7 figures when I exited end of 2020. I've also done property developments, that's flips, that's buying properties, selling them with adding value. Something called BRRR, which is buy, refurbish, refinance, and then rent. So effectively, that's where you keep the property in effect, rather than selling it, but you get some money back out, and you also have like a yield, so a return based on that property investment from your rental income. Before that, I did like project management, sourcing, and pretty much everything in the space. So I've done conversions, refurbs, new builds, ground up. So office to residential conversions, loft space deals, which is like buying the space above a building to build out. So I've done loads of different things. I've been doing it for the better part of 8 years now.
Okay. That's a big portfolio to have in 8 years, man.
Very big.
So we've built up over the time, obviously got goals. I think I've probably done maybe somewhere between 50 to 20 million pound worth of deals over that time frame. And yeah, like I've developed in my strategy, but I think one thing that is I've really started to try and vamp things up more recently. You know, I've set myself certain metrics that I want to achieve within the next 3 years, within the next sort of 10, 20 years, etc. But also away from building a portfolio, one thing that obviously with property, the main barrier to entry or the issue is the capital, and it's also like quite a scary thing because it's a lot of people's biggest investment they make. So like where you've seen me, and again, shout out Droopy for bringing me through.
Shout out Droopy, man at H.
Exactly. My guy, he's my PlayStation partner. That's my main guy right now, Warzone.
Big H,
See me on Instagram, YouTube, etc.,
Yeah.
which I've been on for about sort of 6 to 9 months. Put myself out there for a bit of time, but I really wanted to showcase actually what I'm doing,
Yeah.
show that it is kind of like possible to do it, how I do it,
Yeah.
a lot of transparency as well. Because if you want to grow, one of the main things I think
You have to be
is actually
transparent.
letting people know what you do, having that integrity, in that this is what I do, here's my wins, here are my losses. But if you want to invest in me or you want to go forward and work with me, you can see it. My portfolio is there, live in the flesh. I'm not hiding.
I'm not gonna lie, this guy, when I welcomed him in the car park, like he opened the passenger's door, like came in a big thing, by the way. Came in a big thing.
That big thing is.
I see the planning
figured.
I see
I
the
figured.
plan. I see the planning and everything. I'm like, this guy just lives and breathes property. No wonder why he's doing what he's doing. Because you know when you just see the architects, what was that planning?
Yeah. So they were. So that was
yeah.
the one I had there.
Yeah.
Sat in Croydon. Bought it last year.
Okay.
Currently in the process of trying to convert a house into 5 flats.
Okay.
So that's pretty much done and dusted. We've kind of got an agreement in principle.
Yeah.
So just waiting to start on that.
So, like, was there ever a time when you started this and you thought, is this me? Like, should I carry on or should I just like this thing ain't working type of thing?
Do you know what? I think I'm quite like in property. You kind of have to take a lot of risks, but I'd say as a person, I'm quite risk adverse. I don't take loads, so I've been fortunate enough that obviously I've had little setbacks, but I've never lost money. I've never had a deal where I'm like,
Serious?
like, yeah, this isn't like, this hasn't gone well. We haven't made any money. And I hear so many stories about people that don't, and I also hear the other side of people that take way more risks and have now, do you know what I mean? They've gone crazy. But I think I had genuine, you see, like I said, something that you do and you do with a passion.
Yeah.
Like I actually love property. Like it's my thing. Like I was, when I started out, and I'm starting doing, like I said, rent to rent, and that was on a very low budget.
Yeah.
Like I was working for like a year, like 7 days a week, like 12-hour days.
As
like
a rent to rent
like
person?
with like doing rent to rent, still doing development, still doing other stuff. Like so, do you know what I mean? We've done it ground up. Like I was there buying the curtains from IKEA, cutting them, ironing the hems on to get them the right size, to have them ready for the property. Like I was meeting the tenants to check them in, going to meet them because the dishwasher wasn't working.
Yeah.
Like really done it ground up. But I think it's because having conversations with people, I've seen people and I've met people that have made more money from buying their house than they made from 30 years of work.
Interesting. I like that one. I like that one because you come from that 9 to 5 route. So you're saying you see more people making more money buying a property than they've made. How?
How,
sorry?
like, it's like, so I don't know if you're familiar with like right to buy.
Right to buy, yeah.
So right to buy is if you're a council tenant, after you've been there for a certain number of years, they'll allow you the provision to buy the property on the basis that you can't sell it for the next 5 years, and they have first right of refusal to buy it back for you for maybe a further, like for 10 years from the purchase.
Run that. Do you know why I say that? Do you know what? Run that one again, because you know why? There's so many. I'm sorry. I'm asking you to run that one again because there's so many people in this particular position here that get so comfortable with the low affordable rent from the council and don't understand that what you just mentioned is an option. Like, you know, I know people that have lived in properties for 20 years, 15 years, 10 years, and aren't even realizing that they're working as well full time, but they're just enjoying the luxury of living in a council property. Especially, I speak for the African community, the Congolese community where I'm from, and I don't know if I can't speak for any other community and see if they're clued up. But what you just said, I would like you to just kind of just break that down a bit, because I know there's a lot of people within the black community who are in that position, like in council houses, and they don't own it. You know, they've lived there 20, 25 years, 30 years. They just don't own it because I don't know whether they don't know or they don't want to take the risk.
Yeah.
But I want you to just touch on a little bit on that right to buy thing, because that was deep.
Yeah, so depending, like, there's different provisions, but after you've been in a property for a certain amount of time, you can purchase the property from your council, from the housing association, potentially at a discounted rate. Now, depending on how long you've been there and different factors, they'll allow you that discount. But if you think like depending on the income that you're on, trying to save, like for example, £40,000 could take like a ridiculous amount of time. Like if you're doing that through just saving, not investing. However, if you can buy a property at a discounted rate, you've effectively saved that money overnight. Now, even if you can't sell it and exit from it, it's still really worthwhile. So you can buy those. And like I said, an old example would be like the previous generation. So like, I think like the African community came slightly after the Windrush, but still bought places in areas like Notting Hill that were predominantly like black, Brixton as well, things like that. And the prices they bought them for then on right to buy in comparison to what they were worth, you can imagine somebody picking something up at that point in time. They were picking them up for like £20,000. That same flat / house, depending on what it's worth, could be, as a flat could be worth $500,000, as a house could be worth 1.2 million in Brixton. So if we kind of were then to say, okay, let's annualize that and see what that's earning per year, that's a ridiculous sum of money. But although I say that from like 20 years ago, the difference is I know people that bought council flats, for example, in Tulse Hill. It's maybe like in a purpose-built block, they were umming and ahhing, wasn't the most desirable, but did it 6 years ago, maybe because they had parents that were there. And also, you have a right to buy it with a parent if your parent's been there for that longer period of time. And you can buy it like as a share with them. So they may have a certain percent, you have a certain percent, and can exercise that right. But people that bought it, that I know buying places for 160,000, that 4 years down the line, because the market's moved, is now worth 340,000. So you can't sell it for a certain amount of time, but where else are you going to get £200,000 from?
Wait. Now I'm glad you mentioned that, because there's a lot of people in that position, and there's a lot of people in that position who are looking to buy a house but don't know that the house that they're currently in, they can purchase it.
The only thing I would say to kind of caveat that or to play devil's advocate is that sometimes it can almost be like the golden handshake that holds you back, because some people, like I've got like friends that they've been on maybe the waiting list for the council place, and they're on there and they know they're moving up and they're about to get somewhere. So because they're on somewhere, they maybe run a good salary, but because of circumstance, they're able to get that council house, but they've now not bought. And they've not bought, and they've delayed. They could have bought 7 years ago, but they were waiting for the right to buy, waiting. But that same house they could have bought 7 years ago has almost doubled in value. So I do think there's a balance of, yes, don't get me wrong, if you're in a position to exercise it, but don't use that as like, don't let that kind of pin you down that that's the only avenue you can go down.
Yeah, because that's what a lot of people do. Sometimes, like like you said, they're in good salaries, but in terms of instead of buying because they're on a waiting list, they're waiting for that council property, and the risk is that how long you're gonna wait for, because you're not guaranteed. I mean, I think women are in favor sometimes, because not all of them, especially mothers, young, if you're a mother, then you're more than likely.
Different people have preference.
You mentioned, I think it depends on the borough, innit?
Yeah.
But you mentioned housing association. I thought they made buying their properties a lot harder than
it's that, but it's mainly like council, but there are some provisions within some housing associations that do allow it. Housing associations, generally speaking, a lot of their London stock, like a lot of like, so even my investment properties, a lot of them I buy at auction, because they have a thing where if they're going to sell it on the open market, they don't just put it on Zoopla or Rightmove or your portals. They have a thing where you have to sell at auction. So with auction properties, again, we're kind of just jumping around, but with those, they can often be quite high risk purchases. But if you are looking to get into the auction game and trying to buy something, often looking at a housing association is quite a good way to go, because they're a big organization that are putting it in just part of their disposal scheme, as opposed to there being an inherent issue with the property itself.
Do you know what? I've never really known the difference between like housing association and council. I thought it was kind of like all like under one thing, but is it two separate things?
It's two. I think you're in the right position to explain.
You know what? The funniest thing is, like, I'm actually not, because it's like it's almost the only area, because it's social housing, that I'm private, so I'm solely deal with private housing, so I don't really, but I wouldn't want to give false information.
I think from what I know, I think obviously council houses, I think it's owned by the council. I think housing association is obviously
private.
Again, it's private, but like I said, like the word said, association. It's like I build a building with new builds, and I've given the council, let's say there's 10 properties in there, and I said, okay, the council, I'm going to give them, again, I don't know the right terms and exact terms, but I think the logic of it is that I own 10, I've got a building where I've got 15 houses.
If you build more than 9, you have to do an element of social housing, affordable housing. So they'll effectively look at, okay, they'll do their numbers. They'll say, okay, it doesn't matter what you've paid for this site. To us, this site's worth X. You'll then submit your build costs at like what the industry rate is for the build costs. So they'll say, okay, look, you're bought for this. Your planning X, Y, or Z is this. Your build cost of this. You're gonna make this much money. So to make affordable housing, you've got to give us this many houses at this price.
Bring out your calculators and your notepads, because this one's here is going to be, like I said in the beginning, it's going to be a lot of gems. Like a lot of you lot are like, damn. Say, what did he say? What? Rands was taking it this way, and he's just like, no, mate, shut up. Like, take it this way. Like, but you mentioned like the first time I saw you was, well, not the first time. Obviously, knew few mutual friends, but I think the first time I saw what you was about was through Home Under the Hammer, and just what was that? I think. What was that? Was that like your first project in terms of, or was you already doing something then?
I'd been doing it for a while then. I think that was kind of maybe 2015. So maybe I was about three years in at that point. 3 years in,
okay.
3 years.
What was that project? Is that more like of a what's the word I'm looking for?
So that was.
What was it, like a renovation project, or was it more like they just brought you in to kind of say, okay?
No, so how basically, just to give people background, Homes Under the Hammer. It's actually, there's a show that I'm sure we all watched growing up. Like, if you weren't at school, if you were off that day, like you sit at home, BBC Homes Under the Hammer. I think it's currently on like series 32 with averaging like 30 episodes in the series. I think apart from EastEnders, it's their current longest running series or something like that. So their premise is, they just go to auctions, and if you buy something at auction, they'll just approach you and be like, look, we like the house you've bought. Do you want to kind of be part of the show? Okay. So you come and do the befores, the afters. You tell them, like, you know what I mean, you meet up with their production team, etc.
Oh, so you was doing your thing, and they kind of just approach
you. So they kind of just approach people that are doing something already. So
I thought they gave you something, and like, so it's just like an.
Yes, I was just there, and they were just like, and it was funny because they again, there I was very much like, like, so Dave hit me on the day and said, yo, like, can we take your details? We wanna, we wanna showcase your journey. And I've just said, yeah. And I said, I'm not doing it. But then I told my business partner afterwards, I said, these people hit me, they're mad. And he said, cause looked, someone just looks at you and says, I phone them back. I phone them back. But, That specific project, what that was that HMO. So that's a house of multiple occupancy, a house share. So bought it on the basis of, had done some flips, but wasn't working, so needed like more residual income. And HMOs in London have like quite a high yield. So that's like your return on investment from the property itself.
I call that ROI for some reason. ROI.
Like, so your return on investment, but like the yield is like the percentage point of what you're getting, of what that property yields you per year. So I wanted to do something like that because obviously more people is like a higher rental income. But also at the time, that was when I'd started my co-living brand as like a co-founder of that business. And in terms of investing in myself, because I was pitching luxury HMOs to people, as that was our business, creating these luxury HMOs and turning people's existing
assets. There wasn't
assets.
just any basic, like, just
no,
typical
so obviously at the time, I think it was like,
luxury one.
At the time,
affordable luxury, you called it.
Yeah, affordable luxury. So at the time, it was, I would say it was very forward thinking, because that's like, what, going on 6 years ago. Now a lot of people are doing more luxury HMOs, but at the time did it to a really nice standard. Every room had an ensuite, had an intercom, TV, like LED lights, spotlights, every room. Like
5 years ago, people are just clocking onto it now.
So
clocked it from early, bro.
But that was kind of almost like, okay, if I'm telling other people to do similar stuff, let me create like a showcase, a shop window to show what can be achieved and what could be done. So that was why we embarked on that project. And then again, use that as like a stepping stone to build that co-living, like rent-to-rent brand effectively.
That's what a lot of people tend to be doing now. When I go on Instagram, I'm seeing a lot of HMO projects. Are you saying that it's more affordable? I mean, it's more profitable than buying to flip or buying to rent, or
no, it just depends on what you want out of your property investment. Because if you buy a house and then go and spend whatever it costs to refurbish, it could cost 30,000, it could cost 80,000, depending on the standard and the scope of work you're doing at that property. Now, if you do that, like, yes, you could get an increased value, but your money, your deposit, your works is in that property, but you get a higher like rate of return or a higher yield based on the fact that you now have 5 occupants rather than 1, and that it's been done to a higher standard. But if you want to increase your working capital, then flips are more likely, because you buy a house, you spend money, you add value, you sell it, you obviously take your profit out, you pay your tax, you pay your relevant associated costs, but then you have more money to work with to go forward to do bigger projects.
This is all going over my head, big man. I ain't gonna lie to you, bro.
But it's good. Like, make sure you got your notepad, watch over it, and again and again and again and again. Hit up KAZY, Property by KAZY on Instagram if you have further questions. But again, today, this one here in particular, I'm learning, you're learning, and I hope you're learning.
I'm learning.
Get your notepad out, calculators out.
I feel like I'm in a lecture.
Keywords: return on investment, yield. What's the other one you said? Working capital. What's
I don't know. Do you know
flips?
Do you know what's mad funny?
Not flips for murky.
That's the only flips I know, bro.
We got flips, boy. We got flipper.
Yeah. Man, I'm thinking, wait, flips for murky? Yeah, he's working man.
That's the only flips I know.
No,
Bro.
we're talking about flips as in buying to make profit and sell, innit? That's what you're talking about.
It's funny because, like, obviously, I'll speak to some people and I'll think, all right, you know, like loads of stuff, like but in the property space, I'm an active learner. So I've learned by doing. I haven't got a degree or a qualification, or like I haven't come from maybe being a contractor or a builder or a surveyor. Like, my stuff has all been very practical. So I'm learning this and I don't feel confident because even like when I speak to other people in the property space that are very academic with it, like whatever I'm saying, they're looking at me like, okay, like what's next?
Yeah. But how did you get all this knowledge then? Is what homework was you doing to ensure that you know? Because like I said, I feel like when you're in the finance industry, like property industry, or like I said, in these specific industries, like I feel like you need to say the right terms for people to actually understand what you're saying. Like, is even like you took away my explanation of the difference between housing association and council. The way you took it away from me, I was going more of a logical thinking, what my brain understood, and you took it as an
But I think
an expert or someone else. How did you? Again, my question is, how did you gain
educate yourself?
How did you educate yourself?
I think so. As I touched on, I'd say I'm a practical learner. Like, so my background, I did go to university. I dropped out.
Okay,
and then
you didn't finish.
I dropped out, and then I started a business. And whilst I was running my business, I said, you know what, I'm going to go back. And I went back, and I feel like a lot of these things are timing. I just wasn't ready for it at the time I went. And when I went back, I was like there and I smashed it out. But I did economics. So it was just numbers.
Of course.
And it's from a just from a conversational perspective, I like that subject so much because I feel like, when you're talking about how the world works and how money works, it's like I feel like I can have a say in any conversation with that background. Because you can pick up any topic and I can almost link it back to economics. It might bore you, but I can still have a point. So I feel like that kind of confidence allowed me to be able to get involved in conversations. So when I now wanted to pitch to work with maybe somebody who was already in the space, like my grasp of numbers and finance and other things like that allowed it to be easier for me. So I did work alongside other developers, and I've spoken about this, and I'll talk too much, but I did work alongside, and I effectively kind of project managed for other developers just by speaking to them and reaching out to them. But because I kind of gave them a value proposition of what I was gonna offer to them, I was able to learn more from them. I'd say now, it's not to say that was a long time ago, but with the accessibility of YouTube, of Clubhouse, of Twitter, of LinkedIn, of Facebook, there's so many groups and communities you can become part of that you can learn so much online because there's so many different areas and points that you can work on in property to work on what you like and what you enjoy. That you can take that and run with it and then realize, okay, I don't know this, so maybe I want to go down the academic route. Maybe I want to learn a trade. Maybe I want to do so many, and even myself, I'll put out on a daily or weekly basis, the 7 biggest mistakes I think people make in property, 5 books I think people should read in property. Do you know what I mean? Like how I built my credit.
People reading them? People.
Do you know what? I feel like people are. I don't this generation, the Gen Z, millennials, they might not be reading in the practical sense of are they picking up a book and reading? But are they learning? Because if you don't want to read, that's fine. Like audiobooks. Do you want to watch YouTube? Do you want to just spend time because even Instagram and social media, as much as we say, we're TikTok, Black Mirror, addicted to the phones, you can pick up gems. There's a guy called Pokey Banks. I don't know if you've come across him. He's a young boy. He must be early 20s. He's mainly TikTok, but he gets stuff put on Insta as well.
I heard TikTok was my
TikTok
education.
bro.
Like,
Bruv,
is
I'm
it?
telling you, TikTok is.
You can pick
can
up
learn a
bite
lot.
size. Like I wouldn't say obviously you can hone your craft, but you know when you want to pick up like bite-sized bits of information, that loads of people just do little TikToks, and if people create bite-sized information that's digestible, you remember it, and if you remember it and it resonates with you, you might take in way more than that than reading a chapter of a book.
That makes sense. The ways of learning is advancing,
It's
bruv.
advanced. Like a bite size. You lot bite size. The only time you lot ever heard bite size was on BBC,
GCSE.
with the man that used to make the jokes in the corner.
Bite size.
Bite size. No, but do you know what? When you go through a project, what's that process of inspiration like? Like, you know, when, like, for example, you mentioned, you know, are a lot of the projects that you've done client based, or is it just mainly your own project that you're doing? And like, what's the inspiration process? Because you got one house right now that's made the rounds on the blogs. The recent one just got posted on Shade Borough, shout out Shade Borough, and they're posted and everyone's going crazy. You know, you got a few haters in there that are going on like, yeah. I saw one couple of comments in there. Oh, typical UK. They go for the color scheme, white and grey. Oh, like you do that. Then.
Okay.
You do that. Then. Like you took that house from basically. Like I'll walk past our house and go, yeah, and to like, whoa, hello there. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, what's the thought process? Like, are a lot, you know, when you're thinking about creativity, and how does that, you know, how do you bring it from here to like, you know, what's that? How does that?
I think
I was gonna add on to that question.
Yeah.
How do you think of something different for each house all the time, bro? How?
That's it.
so. I'll kind of break down the question. So the first thing was what's the split of my projects?
Yeah.
So the majority of my projects I just self
He's just
build.
rewording my shit. Like, that's sick. I like that. I said you're rewording it on some master PhD level. I like that.
Yeah. So, but the majority of my projects, the majority of my projects that I do are for myself. So, are for my own portfolio, a pipeline of projects that we're doing. Now we do, because when we have gaps between when we're busy and I've got multiple build teams, I will do projects for external people to say, okay, I'm going to do your house, X, Y, or Z. But in reality, the meat and potatoes, the profit is in doing stuff for yourself, as opposed to if I do a job for somebody and I've got a margin of 10, 15%, it's great for cash flow, but it's not great for obviously actual like income. It's okay. But that's not really what I got into development for. So the focus of when I do my projects, the starting point is I have to get my economics hat on and say, look, does this deal make money? So that's where I live in my spreadsheets, and I've got like some 6 spreadsheets that break, like I literally plumb in everything. I've got like, you know, I know how much stuff costs now, and I'll look at it and I'll kind of work out, okay, best case scenario, worst case scenario, and then do something called like stress test the deals. That's like so with that same economics background, we become like Excel nerds. So doing my what if analysis where what if prices go up by this amount, what if the refurb goes up by this percentage, and make sure they still work. Once they work, I actually have a passion for property. So I like the finished product. I like trying to envisage like whether or not I'm building like a 7-figure house or I'm doing, like I said, a room in a house or a HMO. I'd be like, okay, if this was my space, how do I want to live it? So the example of Homes Under the Hammer, I'm thinking, okay, it's young professional based, commuter. They're going to spend a lot of time in their room because not a communal living room. What do I want? So I'd use a slightly smaller bed because it's for single occupants. So use a small double, space it around. It may be a built-in wardrobe, hang the TV on the wall for space, entry phone. So it's not like people are arguing over who's the door for. I'm not getting it this time. Make sure like you've got a Wi-Fi point in each room. Like just different things to try and think through the process. And I kind of take that and use that for whatever I'm doing. And then I also try and come out of the typical developer of like just, okay, I've done one bathroom, let me just put that same bathroom in every flat.
Like sometimes you'd see that.
You see that, and you know that it was this developer.
You just see it, you're like, that's man.
It's the Barrett home. I know how that one looks, or it's this one. It's a bit more generic. But there's so much inspiration out there. Like, you know, my work Instagram, all I follow is property pages. So when I'm scrolling through the timeline, I'm like, I'm gonna do I see a bathroom, like that's hard. My one's gonna be harder.
So
makes sense.
It's competition. I think.
Do you know what you talked about converting spaces? There's a recent project that you was involved in, which was I like it. The prison. A prison.
So that
police
wasn't okay. So that's
the magistrate.
Shout out the guys from Reho Booth Property and the Hill Hub. Good people over there. That's not my project, but it was a project that I'd seen on Instagram again, probably come up on the blog pages, and I liked it.
You went over
they
there.
reached out to me
yeah,
just to be like, look, do you want to come and see it? I was like, of course,
Sick.
like, let me come and see it. And then
Okay.
just, social media like had like a milestone with followers. And I said, you know what, rather than just be like, people might offer me something like, I don't know, like a TV, rather than give away a TV, I was like, you know what, let me pay for
People
something.
offering you TV. I want TV.
Yeah, people would hit me and say, oh, can we give something away or do a giveaway? But I said, you know what, in terms of value, like, let me pay for the office space for somebody so they can learn, give away some of my time to do like some mentorship within the space. So that what that was the Dartford police station and magistrates court.
Yeah.
So they've converted that, the guys at Real Booth Property, into what they like call the Hill Hub.
Okay.
So it's like a co-living / co-working space for people, entrepreneurs. They've got different size offices from the previous prison cells that have been converted into offices, barbershops, etc. Along with like a co-working space. And they've also got like a government incubator fund as well to allow them to help grow businesses. So it's like a nice space that you could start in a co-working space, move to a smaller office, become nice. So, and also being alongside like-minded people. I just like the idea of that dope. Almost like Silicon Valley, like the come up feel of startup businesses working together.
Dope.
That's
Dope.
lit.
You have a very giving heart, like in terms of you're available, like you're very available to support, to give, and I seen that as well. It's like, mate, did you tap into my phone by any chance, like to just go through, like literally, like I just, sometimes I like to be organized, like sometimes, because my thing was I seen one of the things that I like, because I'm all about impacting the next generation. Someone said something key to me was like, you know what, Rand, young people need mentoring. Young people need to learn life skills. Young people need to be taught how to survive in this day and age, and to be taught how to go and get it. And I liked it. One time I tuned into your page, it's like, you had 2 young men that you said, okay, we're taking them to work today. And that's like, I like that. I was like, okay, you're not only like, you're making
hard.
Like,
That, like
I
people
like
ask
that.
me if they're my kids, like, or if I like.
I thought they were kids, bro.
I don't even like. It sounds. I know them, but I don't know. Like, I don't like their moms. But I was getting my teeth whitened. I had to double check. Like, can I say that? I said, yeah, I can say that. I was getting
this day and age, you can say what. I think people understand that. People have done worse. Like, shout. I need to do mine too.
Yeah.
Like,
So, and then I was just there, and obviously, like, Cara, the mum, was just like talking to her son, Nakai, just like, like mum say, oh, like, you know what I mean? You got to work hard if you want to be successful. Like, KAZY, he's a property developer. He's kind of hanging around. He starts asking me questions like, do you buy stuff at auction? Oh, when you buy stuff at auction, is it cheaper? Oh, have you done buy to let? Oh, he's 11 and he's asking me questions.
Already
like,
knows about that.
And
That's
he
sick.
already knew. So I said,
That's
nah,
sick.
like, sometimes you see stuff like that and you're like, nah, I've got to feed this energy. So brought them out, and they're cool. Like, during lockdown, they started a little business doing their car washes. Big up K&K Car Wash on Instagram.
Love that. I love that.
And they were doing their thing, so I made sure I go through and support, but also brought them out, bring them back regularly, because bro, they're hard.
grafted.
Like they come
11,
like, imagine
12,
like 11, 12 now.
yeah.
Bro, I don't want to get the age wrong. Could be a little bit old, but like even if they're 13 now, when they've come back to me, I've just said, oh, do you little boys want to come back? They said, yeah. He's come back with mad questions, like literally, like, oh, what's right to buy? What's this? What's that? Like, he's come with a notepad. Like it's his day off. He's
I hope
even
that's
might
what
have
the
missed,
listeners
do you know
will
what I
get
mean?
today.
Might have missed football to do this.
Yeah.
And they're good at ball. Like, so I kind of feed that energy. But my whole even ethos or reason behind joining social media was in the hope that, obviously, don't get me wrong, I want to network, I want to grow my business, which like it's done. But I'm on there like with a lot of transparency. I think one thing I do is I'll tell you, this is how much money we made, this is how we made it, this is an area I'd recommend. Like, I might get 50 DMs a day and I try to respond to all of them.
We hit you up, by the way. You still haven't seen it.
Hit me up, bro.
You still ain't seen it.
My bad. But I'm here though. But I'm here now though.
It's filtered.
I'm here though. But I try and, do you know what I mean? Try and whatever. I try and do regular like Q&As, try and do lives. And even with the lives, I put people that I feel like they're doing good things. So I've like, my network is sick. Like, my solicitor, like, I went to university with, like, my accountant I went to school with, my architect I've known since I was 15. Like, we're a proper team, and it's about elevation. And even down to people like my current I'd probably call him like my intern. Like, bro, he's like, when you go and I say, right, this boy, see this boy
like
here,
him.
yeah?
Yeah.
Like, bro, this boy is gonna do a madness.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
so he's like, even the way we've operated, I've showed him like, oh, your skill set. Like, so recently I've helped him set up his business. So he's now gonna be making more money on a monthly than he was making from his 9 to 5. So he's about to leave that to be able, do you know what I mean? Even down to my videographers, that,
Yeah.
do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
that are
yeah.
with me, and like some of the young boys from South Point Media, like that will kind of speak on a daily of what they're trying to do, what they're trying to achieve, about investing in yourself. And when I met him, he was filming with a gimbal on his phone, telling me he's a videographer. I said, bro, you're not.
Yeah.
Like, let me be like, you're not right now. But then, and he was talking about wanting to buy this and that. But now he's investing. So if he pulls up here, you'll think, this guy might know Denzel. Like the kind of equipment that he comes with.
Yeah. That's it. So one of the things I'm picking up is that you've got quite good people around you. Like your network is quite elite per se, as per the conversation we was having, and as per the little bit that I know. But one of the things I'm picking up here is that rather than you just flexing on the people around you, like, I'm property by KAZY, I own this, I own that, I drive this, I drive that, I can do this, I can do that. You've picked up skill sets from all these people and said, okay, I've got a business that you can benefit from. You're a lawyer, right? We went to school, you've invested in them, and they're also growing at the same time you're growing. They're getting something back they're getting something back from you rather than, I like that.
Some of my, and the things people have done for me as well makes me want to, like, my guys over at AA Drafting, the architects, like when I was the first in some of my biggest projects, and their fees, like their actual professional fees would have been £10,000.
Yeah.
And then maybe they hadn't done a project like that at the time, but I didn't have the money to pay them, and they were just like, you know what, just pay me off the back end, and they believed in me. And then I've gone and done that, and how it's obviously the bounce back between that. And I think potentially sometimes in the community, we don't have that, like, don't get me wrong, have contracts, like tie stuff down, but we don't have enough faith in each other that we can elevate and kind of move away from like the crabs in a barrel mentality, because no one's gonna stop me from making money. Like there's so much money out there to make that me telling you something and giving you a gem, you're not gonna take money out of my pocket, because I'm gonna carry on working, you'll just work alongside me and we all make money. So I think that mentality that, if I give a bit too much away, everybody's gonna take my money. If it's meant for you, no one can take it.
That's some deep shit.
I need a belt. I need.
That's some deep
that's for
shit.
real. That is for real. That I feel like, and sometimes I'm one of the patterns. I don't know if you're noticing with the guests that we have that have things going. They're very giving. They're very very
100.
giving. They're very open and sharing.
That. I respect it.
And I think people need to move away from that idea of, if I share this much information, you're now gonna do better than me, or if I share this much information with you, or this design, or how I got here. Like, for example, I hit up a guy, like I said, to say, I like what you're doing, blah blah blah, come to the podcast, you know what I mean? Like, come and share that knowledge, like, because we're trying to educate. As much as we're trying to have a laugh, we're trying to educate them, the young ones and even the old ones, even like people like ourselves. Man started hitting me up on some budget and like, what's your budget? What you covering? And what do you want to discuss in the podcast? And I'm not going to lie. I said, I respect what you're doing. Like, I understand it's your craft and that's what you're doing. But at the same time, I'm like, you probably got that knowledge, that what you know from someone, like, free of charge. Yeah. And like, why is it that you're trying to charge now? Like, when you've asked me to explain what we're doing, and I explain it to you, but you're not still asking me, like. So I feel like most of the people, what I'm trying to say is that most of the guests that we had up here, even though they're at the elite level, like KAZY, one thing I'm noticing is, like, we had Bobby on here. He was just spilling it, like, he was just spilling it. Do this, do that, and you got KAZY here, and I'm hoping again you got your notepad, you got your notes open on your phone.
Play it back.
Always play it back. It's like, have a giving heart, like a giving heart, like. Give out this information. Try to help the next generation, because, like I said, that good karma is always going to come back to you. That good karma is always going to come back to you. You know what I mean? Like, it's like people nowadays are in a position of power. They don't want to share. They don't want to share information because thinking, if I share this and that, he's going to be better than me. Like, but I respect that, man. I respect that.
Yeah.
I respect that.
Talking of your network, bro, I was going to ask, how important was networking for you to get where you are now? How much of a role did networking play to get you where you are now? Or was it kind of like, 'cause I'm pretty sure it wasn't just I've got this idea, I'm going to do this on my own thing. You had to network and kind of,
Do you know what? Like I was always like people are like, I wasn't shy, but like I quite I just did my own thing. I wasn't.
Yeah.
I was kind of just in my own bubble, in my own head. Like, look, this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
Obviously, I've got like my core people around me that
Yeah.
are maybe working in the same space, but it's only since like joining Instagram and doing like nice like podcasts and things like this that I've really started to network and branch out and kind of. And it's so, for example, if I gave you that example of okay, if I did like if I had a turnover of 15 million over like a, a 7-year period. And I'm saying, okay, over the next 2-year period, it's going to be 8 million.
Yeah.
A lot of that was maybe because of like changing things around and networking.
Yeah.
But in terms of the original, like the come up, I'd say a lot of that was graft.
Yeah.
But that being said,
Yeah.
I think in hindsight, it would have been way easier if I would have built my network. So just because it wasn't my route, I would say that really adds value, do you know what I mean? Just adds, if it's a sounding board, it might not be someone who's going to do anything for you, but somebody who can just tell you, I don't think that's the right way, or have you thought about this? Do you want to try that? So I do think networking is important. It's just it's something that I'm newer to. Like even when I've gone to networking events and I'll sit in the corner when everyone's networking, I'll be like,
this ain't me.
like because at the time also because I was in a bubble, I didn't know what I was doing was good. Like, and I don't know if, like, if you know what I'm saying, but
I
it's
know
like,
what you're saying. Yeah,
I was just doing what I'm doing. So I buy a house and sell a house. Oh, I'm gonna buy another house and sell another house. But I didn't really, because I'm not even out there looking at what other people are doing or seeing how people quantify their success. I was just enjoying what I was doing. It wasn't like the metrics weren't, oh, can I make this much money? I actually just proper like property and was like, oh, I've done one.
So enjoy what you do and let the money come after.
You know, it's like an old age, but like the money's just a way of keeping count. Like it's good to say, okay, I want to have to set yourself more like tangible goals to be like, okay, I need to do this. And it was only off the back of an investor, potential investor, someone hit me and said, yo, like we want to give you mad money. But we need to see what you're currently doing. No, like, you know, Instagram's a crazy place. You'll get people message you and be like, oh, like, yeah, so we've got £1 million that we want to invest. Like, can you just send us over like ahead of terms? Like, what do you... And you're like,
Gotta check if it's real, bro.
Oh, okay. No, but this is how the crazy, like, I'll be like, oh, like, and you'll kind of try and do some due diligence. And somebody might be like, yeah, like, here's my proof of funds. This is a screenshot of my bank. Like, but so there is, in terms of networking, there's like mad possibilities, and some of the deals, the most recent deals I've done have come off the back of Instagram or come off the back of the awareness that's been raised.
So rather than us lot being out there just skipping through stories, there's money to be made.
There's money to be made out there because
the money resides on Insta.
Definitely, you know how the saying goes, like it's about not. It's not about what you know. It's about who you know nowadays. You understand?
I don't know if I don't know how much I'm with
agree with
that.
that.
I feel like there's a balance.
It's both.
Like, so
What
to
you
get
know.
yourself through the door, it's about who you know. To stay in that room, it's about what you know.
He's got a PhD in motivational speech.
Hey, I want to be a speaker, bro.
I like that.
It's there. Do you know what I mean? This is what I'm saying. This is you, bro. As in, like this, like you're not even. You're doing it effortlessly. Like it's you, bro.
No, but I like it though. Like,
TED Talks needs to holler. TED Talks needs to holler. Seriously.
Get the boy on.
Yeah. No, for real. Hey, get him on, man. You know what? Like, I see you doing like workshops. I see you doing like, you know, these TED Talks, because
even like that
so
side
much
of things,
gems.
Like, so long term, again, that's like what my interns put me on to, saying, look, you need to do this, that, and whatever. So and obviously people hit me like every day to say, can I mentor? And I always say, look, if I'm gonna do something, I want to do it properly. And my days at the moment are so disjointed. I'm here, there, I'm everywhere. We're working from home because it's a pandemic. But I think something like maybe an affordable like e-learning course where I package a lot of my information and be like, look, do you know what? Let me put something down. So once it's there, I can just put it out there. If you want to buy it, maybe do like seminars, etc., or webinars, or whatever the case may be. Even link up with the Hill Hub and do some like just open days. Like say, for example, I'll just say, look, do you know what? However many people hit me up, like let's do some deal analysis. You come and talk to me about your deals, vice versa. Everyone will get in the room, everyone will network, and we just chop it up.
Talking of the pandemic, did the pandemic shake you at all? Like,
so like there was little like inferences where, you know, it slowed things down. Like, you know, the first 2 weeks where we went into lockdown, it was like, oh, so everyone's just staying at home. Like, to be fair, construction never actually closed. Like, it never stopped. Like, it didn't stop. But I was like, everyone else is at home playing PlayStation. Like, Droopy, what's going on?
Yeah.
You know?
you-
So
yeah.
I'm with you guys. But yeah, literally, it was like a couple of weeks and I realized, I'm just making up excuses.
Yeah.
But one thing I would say is during the pandemic, there's market uncertainty. And market uncertainty, prices are maybe artificially high, artificially low. People are kind of unsure about what to do. Like, people can't do viewings. So it slowed down. And that was when I took the time to actually set up the Instagram. To join the social media, to actually also reorganize and restructure the business. So that's when I've taken on an intern, I've taken on a PA, I've taken on somebody that focuses on like acquisitions and looking at new sites. So I've built a team. I've gone from having everything really like before that, it was just up here, and to the point that I couldn't work for more than a month without having to go away because I was so consumed. I couldn't switch off at home. Being at home, it was like business was 24/7. I wake up, I'm like, okay, what have I got to do today? I'm going to sleep at 3 a.m. because I'm finishing on the laptop because I'm literally doing everything. Like down to the tenancy, like the tenant management, the viewings, the issues, the project management, the sourcing, the finance, the marketing, and even up till now, it's like I'm getting the steps in place. And it's only now I've had this business for 8 years. I've never had a website. Like it's just because
You got one now?
That's you're working on it.
but I'm working on it.
Alright,
So
cool,
I know we've got a when are we? We've got an end of the month deadline. Like I said, I'm working between my PA and my we're working on it. We're gonna have that.
So
live
this
by the end of the month.
sounds like we're gonna need an office moving forward. That's what I'm getting. That's the vibes I'm
Yeah,
getting
yeah,
right
yeah,
now.
yeah.
There's
So
gonna be an
definitely
office. There's gonna be,
like
you know,
just
like
a
you're gonna
hub.
be like the next time I hit up KAZY, it's gonna be like, yo, shout out my PA and I'll let you know. Hit up management.
Well, even influencers have a PA. I remember a couple of influencers hit me can I? Do you know what I mean? Like the million, like I don't know what they've been on, like some sort of reality TV show, but they've like got like the 7-figure followers, and then message me like an inquiry about like they'll hit me first, like hi, I'm X from could you like help me on my house? I say They say alright, cool. I'm gonna put you in touch with my admin. I say and I'm here just.
It's just what it is. No, but you know what? It's growth in it. Like that's like I said, you probably done it the other way around, where you already establish yourself and you're successful, and now you're just dealing with the back end of things. But like like I was gonna say, it's like you read my notes, but I was gonna say, do you ever feel overwhelmed? And when you get to that point, how do you offload to just make sure like you're fresh again and you're ready to go again? Like I said, because it sounds like you have too much on. Only now you're starting to spread it, because the property thing, like I said, it just sounds like headache sometimes. It's just headaches. Like
I had squirrels last week and a flood.
Yeah, wow.
The squirrels, and it was so mad. Like the tenant phoned me and said, we think we got squirrels in the loft. Being responsible, I said no problem. Spoke to my PA, said look, go get pest control. She got a couple quotes. They were supposed to go the next day. Got a message like 10 at night to say the squirrels bit through the pipe. It's leaking downstairs. Now the squirrels gone downstairs and bit through their electrics. They've got no power. But luckily now, because I've got a PA, she's still feeding back to me the problems. But I've got a filter. Like otherwise it's just slapping you in the face. Now I feel like I've got a protector that's like, okay, Kaz, look, I've already dealt with X, Y, or Z, but I need your sign off on paying for this. A basement flooded. And it's just these things happen, and and then alongside, that's unexpected. So you've got your day-to-day of, okay, I've got this project I've got to go to, I've got to meet with this agent, I've got to see my financial advisor, my accountant, my broker, X, Y, or Z. And then that comes out of the blue and throws your whole day out of whack. So dealing with that over like 7 years is just like, it's constant. Like you wake up and everything is a now thing. So my thing was always like literally like last 4 or 5 years, like I would, even if it's like 2 days, I'd go away once a month just because I physically can't do anything. Like if I'm physically out of the country, I can't go to that site. So it's like I can almost switch off, phone down, like literally no notifications, and just get me on a beach somewhere. Do you know what I mean? And just and that was before like I don't know, like clothes and this and that, or even cars. Like I was like doing property for a long time. Where the only thing I'd spend money on is travel. That was my thing. Like that was my passion.
With cars, you doing the car thing as well?
No. Before I even bought, and like I had like people know me from KAZY with a Honda Civic. Like this Honda Civic, like is what I built my business in. That Honda Civic, I've still got the Honda Civic now. I've had it for like 12 years. Like it was up to I didn't even realize the car was old and people didn't rate it no more till I was like going central maybe 2018, 17, and people are looking at me like, bro, you pulling that up out? I said, yeah, bro. These just got big dents down the side where I crashed into a wall and stuff. But that was like, I was sand and cement, like bricks, everything, fridge freezers in the back of that.
He's driving more than the Honda Civic right now. Don't you
Trust me, don't
More
you
than
worry
the
about
Honda
that.
Civic.
It's no longer a Honda Civic.
Couple of Honda Civics sitting outside right now. A couple of them, few of them, should I say?
we
But like I
still
said,
got the Honda.
but you know, like your journey sounds smooth. It sounds like you've had
Yeah.
minor bumps on the road. How was it funded? Is it family run, or is it like, you know, how did you get your first property? Did dad say, son, you're a big man now, here's 50K, go and be a man, or like how?
Like there was a balance between a lot of things that I touched on before we even
Yeah,
started
yeah,
recording. Like
working,
bro, like 12 paper rounds, 12 to 13 paper rounds, 15 to 17 Primark. So I was working whilst in school.
Yeah.
Primark to Phones for You whilst at college. The main thing where I built capital was after leaving Phones for You, started a shisha business. So that was
What year is that? Because Phone for You died in basically a few years ago.
Nah, Phones for You-
And
Phones
Shisha started popping maybe
When did
the
Shisha
last.
start?
Shisha started popping maybe, I would say 2013, 14.
yeah, I was before that.
Huh?
I was before that. I was shisha like 2011, maybe 2010.
Ahead of the game. You were ahead of the game.
Okay, so let me give you the metrics.
Yeah,
Shisha,
yeah,
when
yeah.
I was doing it, obviously that smoking ban came into place like 2006 or something like that. But off the back of that, like the initial was a pushback and people were kind of still smoking inside, and then it was like, no, if you smoke inside, there's going to be big fines. So started like I like shisha. I think I went to Egypt 2008 and it was like, shisha's like, the one. This is all right.
Yeah.
So off the back of that, bought shisha pipes, found out about like where to get them from, and started to hit up nightclubs and be like, look, like you've made these nice outdoor smoking areas. Can we do shisha in your space?
Yeah.
So they firstly were saying, well, you're going to pay us. And we were like, well, we can't pay you.
When you say, when you say you've made these outdoor spaces, so
the clubs were making to cater for their smokers. Because smoking, do you know what I mean? There were so many more smokers, obviously. Even now, smokers have to smoke.
Yeah.
And if a club hasn't got somewhere for them to smoke, there's some smokers that simply won't go there. And we know the margins in alcohol, they're going to cater to them.
Yeah.
So started approaching nightclubs in West End, South London, etc. And started doing like shisha pop-ups basically in their venue. And it was just a value-added service in that we could do shisha there.
Yeah.
They could then pitch it on their flyers, like we've got XYZ club with shisha, and like you said, shisha was beginning to pop, and we just charged the consumer directly. So our only overhead was like staff, and it was just us. So shisha at that point had 1,000% markup.
Yeah.
So we were doing good numbers. Off the back of that, again, just pitching to people saying, look, I want to do shisha. Managed to start doing shisha at festivals. So festivals, we would hire the space. Now, don't get me wrong, it was a risk because we was hiring this space over the period for like maybe £1,800, which was like, it's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money,
But then we were making £4,000 a night, £5,000 a night doing shisha. Like we're doing, I think my favorite one I ever did was, do you know V-Fest?
V-Fest,
They
heard of
had like
V-Fest,
two sites. They
yeah,
got one like in Chelmsford, like in Essex, the closest one to around here. So we were doing 24-hour shisha around the clock. In terms of wages, I was just telling my friends, look, like come through and I'll get you a pass. Like you do half the acts, and just come and help me with the shisha. Like business as well.
You're flipping whilst they're enjoying.
Literally.
Yeah, but they was enjoying.
Yeah.
They was enjoying. Like that was one of the. Do you know what I mean?
Hey,
that
if you ever work for him, you're now thinking,
Nah, they was there. The boys are there. The boys
Hands
are
on
there
head.
with us. They was there working. But no, it was good. Did that like a few times, and off the back of that, whilst I was at university, managed to get a license, get like arrangement to get a shisha bar in Elephant and Castle.
Okay.
So I had that shisha bar. Got
What,
that
your
running.
own thing?
Yeah, so she didn't have a full lease. I didn't pay for a lease. I had like a license agreement to operate within the premises. So there was a bit of restrictions. There was only so much we could do to refurb because we didn't own the building and didn't have like an indefinite term. But it was already like quite a nice setup. Just added some flair, invested in it from that money. And like bars, nightclubs, etc. have a really good like profit margin. So
You've been flipping from early, bro.
From early. So what I'm getting from that is like for those listening, it was never like a family.
No, like there
thing
was
where
so my dad, like, and then just to give background on my dad, like, so my dad, first generation migrants. My dad's from Nigeria, mum's from the UK.
Okay.
And like when he came over,
Yeah.
came over. He studied to be a lawyer while doing taxi driving, while having a stall, selling baskets,
Yeah,
Vauxhall
hustler.
Market. You know,
Yeah.
so the hustle's been in me, and
Yeah.
from an early stage,
Yeah.
he hit me with obviously his thing is look, our family back then were up here, because of movements in whatever here, so I'm gonna elevate us to wherever I can get to, and it's effectively passing the baton, wherever I get to 10x that.
You
So
take it
obviously
further.
with whatever I've built, he can help help with that as well, to assist, for me to say, okay, look, let me try and do something, try and do that first project alongside. 'Cause I didn't know, I didn't have good credit, I didn't have whatever, so he's also giving me
Who
tips and
does, man,
tricks.
at that age?
Yeah, but
Word.
we should, because in reality, I had money, so why didn't I have good credit?
Yeah. But we don't know about this stuff. I didn't know about credit
Yeah,
till I was,
word.
But that's what I'm saying.
That's what
But
the
why?
younger, yeah.
But why do you know about that? But you know about algebra.
Talk to the damn teachers. Talk to them
No, do
teachers,
you know what?
bro.
Me personally, like I said, I'm all about inspiring the next generation and even people now and people. I'm all about passing on knowledge. I do feel like, it's great in terms of, I think, obviously the maths and the stuff helps with your critical thinking and stuff like that. But like I said, I am for teaching these life skills. Like what that person said to me, I work with that person and I'm in education, and it hit me. It's like these young people need life skills. Like you said, it's right. You know, we're pushing about them learning algebra and this and that, but they need to learn about good credit. You know, even if it's just in their head from 11 years old, you know, they might not need it, but by the time they get, okay, I remember KAZY talking about when I was 11, he mentioned.
But I just even
you know
think
what I mean?
the whole school system is very archaic. The whole way in which we learn, I don't know, again, this is going back to that TED talk stuff and stuff, but the way in which we learn is like a system when we didn't have what we had in place now. So you had to have people that were the same all around the world, that learn the same, that do the same, speak the same, etc. So you teach them the basics. But now with the tools that we've got in place, if you're not a thinker, that maybe like me, I'm dyslexic. So spending a lot of time trying to read, obviously I need to improve my literacy, but it's maybe not the best use of my time, because from economics background, I understand that but specialization is key, because if you've got a skill, and I've got a skill, if we all specialize and become experts in our own skill, I might not be able to do what you do and vice versa, but we can trade. So I will be the most efficient at doing what I do, so I can sell you whatever I do at a good price because I'm efficient doing it. You do the same, and there's a mutual benefit of trade from both of us. And that's kind of I feel like from an education perspective, if we can specialize in our skill sets, then people will elevate and be a lot better at what they're doing individually and allow us as a community to uplift.
Rather than trying to box them in.
Rather than everybody has to know this by this age. Everybody has to don't get me wrong, there's a case for foundation and grounding, but I think a more fluid system of education will be a lot more beneficial, particularly to this Generation Z entrepreneur, everybody out there, go get it. I think the education has to match the environment that we're working in.
I hope the Minister of Education is seeing this.
Now, do you know one thing I like this particular episode here? Because again, we're touching on everything. We're touching on going from property to knowledge to life to education.
The whole bang. The whole shebang.
In terms of your portfolio right now, what to your name now or to your company, how many properties does Property by KAZY can say that's mine? This is ours. This is what I'm.
So I think. It changed because because I always buy and sell. It changed. I maybe 20 or something like that properties that we own, but it always goes up and down.
You own in London.
Yeah.
Or you only focus in London.
Yeah. So I only operate in London.
Okay, 20 properties. That's a big portfolio, man. That's a big.
But again, some stuff is obviously on the basis that, for example, if I've done 5 flats, it's on the basis that I'm going to be selling those 5 flats, so they're a disposal. They're not a long-term asset under management. Yeah. And for me to be able to continue, it's about working capital. And if I keep those in-house, it's great. I've got good income, but then what can I do next year? So as much as I don't want to kind of confuse the number and be it's loads, because you know what I mean? It might be 11 in X amount of time. It might be 12. It might be 24. But it fluctuates. But I kind of said, I think I just randomly, because when you got to make an Instagram bio, you got to write something. So I said, my goal is 10 million over the next 3 years to have assets under management. I think I'm going to smash that out of the park and then just go for the moon.
Smash that out of the park.
I like the
just said smash that.
Speak into existence. But when you guys speak on those numbers, to someone who doesn't know, who doesn't understand, they're translating as in that's how much you have now, like right now in your bank, like right now.
So in
like,
reality, obviously, your assets under management are what those assets are worth, but those assets don't come without liabilities, and that's your debt to whoever you finance the property from. So be that your bridging lender, your mortgage lender, or even if you've taken private equity finance. So in reality, if somebody speaks about their assets under management, they're probably gonna have a minimum sort of like, or sort of maybe minimum like 25%, equity within that stake. So that means that's how much money, if they were to sell everything tomorrow, that's how much they'd have left over.
Okay. That's still
makes
decent.
sense.
That's all right. That's all right. But like what, to a lot of people, when I'm still a baby boy in my 30s, yeah. A lot of people my age, you're considered a failure if by now you don't own a property. Whereas a lot of people now coming up in their 20s or in the early 20s or whatever, they're more sort of investment and taking risk. A lot of people talking crypto now and talking this and that. Whereas
You invest
people
in
might,
crypto?
huh?
You invest in crypto?
Do you know what? I'm looking into it. I've started. I'm late.
I would like to.
I'm late.
but I
You
just
into
don't know-
crypto?
I don't know what's going on.
A little bit.
Yeah. So
little bit, I dabble.
you making the flip in it? Like I would like to. Like I'm starting to.
I feel like
I'm late. I started reading on it just like
Yeah.
not long ago. So I'm
I feel
ready.
like it's it just depends on your attitude towards risk.
Yeah.
It's obviously bricks and water. When you can go somewhere and touch it and be like, that's mine.
Yeah.
You feel safer. It's an investment vehicle we're more familiar with.
Yeah.
So I think even when you speak to the people that have made millions in crypto,
Yeah.
like they'll tell you don't invest more than you're willing to lose because it works in cycles.
Yeah.
And you see like you've seen places where the market's dropped off the cliff and 90% of people's values have gone.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
they've rode that out over a 4-year period and they've come back up and they've gone crazy and they've had a crazy come up.
Shit.
But it just depends on your attitude towards risk. Personally, I'm not that risk adverse as I touched on. So I would put a bit in crypto, but I feel like, again, specialization property is what I know. But I wouldn't want to not diversify. So I've invested as like an angel investor in some people's businesses.
Yeah.
I've like put some money into some music projects. I put like to different places. I've also try and diversify as much as like, property is my focus.
Yeah.
I think it is key to not have all your eggs in one basket.
That's
For
true.
real. No, I'm gonna do it though. I've made the decision. I think by next month.
I realized I didn't even answer your question. I just asked you a
No,
question.
no, it's fine. Like, I'm
No,
just
because
saying
you
that
asked about the people not buying property.
people not buying property like in yeah.
I
like
think there's an attitude now which is can be like you hear an argument that is like a property investment can be almost like an anchor to some people because you have to put all your money in and you don't put that money into somewhere else that you could. So don't get me wrong. Like if you've got a sick business idea and you believe in yourself, then a business can 10x way quicker than a property can, and you can have much higher rates of return. But depending on how good your idea is, how much you believe in yourself, how much, loads of different factors would depend on whether or not that's the best avenue for you. So I don't begrudge or look at anybody to say, oh, you shouldn't do this or you shouldn't do that, because I completely understand the mentality of like a lot of the current generation that is convenience. Like, why buy a car if I can get an Uber? Why, like, do you know what I mean? Go out and cook if I can get Deliveroo, and just looking at convenience because people are valuing their time. But when you're valuing your time, you've also got to look at what you're doing with that same time. Because if that time you're valuing, if you're like playing PlayStation, you're not doing anything with that time, unless you're a streamer that's making you money. So you're valuing something too highly.
Yeah. God damn you. Hey, TED Talks.
Do something with your time, damn it.
Do something with your time.
something
TED
with your
Talks needs to hit this guy up. Like he's just dropping gems right now. Like for real. Now I think I've learned so much in terms of what you touched on property, and I think like I said, there's no what you're saying. It's about timing, and I think there's so much pressure right now into like owning a property, and some people are doing it and they can't even afford it to keep up with the payments. Just want to get the property.
For
the
the
first thing you do, flash the keys on Insta, then start your renovation process. Then you're in debt, then you can't keep it. Then the repo man comes and takes the property back. Then what do we do now? Do you know what I mean? There's so much
Then you're
pressure.
in a worse position than when you were before you bought the property.
I feel like there's so much.
That's where my university stuff could have gone. So I do think you're very right. Like the grass isn't always greener. You have got to look at personal circumstance. So that whether that's you're investing, whether that's you're starting a business, whether that's you're going to work.
Yeah.
And I don't like the stigma that like the 9 to 5 isn't good, because what a lot of people do
might be
is
good for-
use
yeah.
that. Not even that it's good, but you can use that 9 to 5 to leverage where you want to get to. So
there you go.
I like
if
that.
you're trying to go and buy a property, your 9 to 5 is what's going to allow you. And there's almost like this, this silly thing on Instagram, like, they're working. It's like,
Yeah.
but we're all working. And do you know what? Like, I don't have a boss. Yeah, you do. Because when you become self-employed, every customer you want to buy to becomes your boss. Because if you don't satisfy them, they won't buy from you, and then you have no customer.
I've been listening. I've been listening. Yeah, my mic's gone. I've been listening. And I swear to you, I've got like three snippets already. Like I've made like 4 or 5 snippets already. Like there's so many gems. Like but in terms of like I said, like the company's growing now. Like the portfolio's crazy. You're attracting people. Where's Property by KAZY going now? Like in terms of, obviously you would like to work for yourself, but like I said, I'm sure the demand right now is people have seen your work. Like it's on the blogs, as the last post I've seen again, Shade Borough.
Saw that today.
Like,
Actually,
obviously people like it. The comments are crazy. There's loads of comments there. The engagement is mad. People want to know. People want to get involved. Where are you looking to take the company now? Because I'm sure I see it at an angle where on a consultancy base, where planning base and refurb base, luxury, affordable luxury, I see a lot of celebrities hitting you up and you doing a lot of work with celebrities. And even now, like for a person that's shy, usually you lot watch us and I do a lot of talking and GK does a lot of talking. We've been doing a lot of listening today. Like you're taking it away. So I feel like the presenting skills are there. Like, you've recently started with your YouTube, but I think you're
on YouTube now?
Yeah, he's on YouTube.
Okay.
Like, so you lot check him out. Property by KAZY on YouTube, Instagram. Yeah, he's giving all the gems on there. But where does the company go now? Like, where does he go from here? Like, in terms of what's the vision for that you have moving forward?
I think, like I said, like personally, like I had like in terms of assets under management, potentially like a 10 million goal. In terms of after that, sky's the limit. Like, you know what I mean? You just add a 0 and then you go for another goal. But then away from, do you know what I mean? Doing my own developments, I guess it's just doing larger scale developments and also doing just more volume of what I'm doing now. So that might be by working with funders that are going to give me like effectively like a drawdown facility to be like, look, you've got a track record now. When you need money, just come to us. We fund, fix whatever. But there's like I've narrowed down and also not narrowed down because I've narrowed down like maybe 5 areas that I want to go into, but that's 5 areas, so it's not really that narrow. But I'm very much so in terms of there are higher barriers to entry to invest in property. So kind of creating an affordable way that more people can access property investment. So I've been looking at like I've had conversations with like the FCA about trying to be able to take retail investment, so lower level investment amounts from non-sophisticated investors, but be able to allow them to invest in like a percentage of a property deal, for example. Very much like, other models do with stocks and shares and things like that. Just from a awareness, like I actually like talking about property. So
I can like you love it. Like it's like that's your go-to place. Like you just doing it naturally,
it's
right?
my happy place, bro. Don't like trust me. Take me out of property. I can talk about something else and I get shy. Like I've heard you talk about other things. Like you'll talk about Games of Thrones and that. That's the one thing I've not watched in my life.
Games of Thrones.
Games of Thrones. I've not watched
never
that. Bro. Like
set my eyes on that series,
Game of Thrones is top tier. And let me tell you something. If you don't respect Game of Thrones, I don't know if I respect your taste in TV.
Not that I don't respect it. I just have not watched it, bro.
Tier show like Game of Thrones, The Wire, Breaking Bad.
I get The Wire, Breaking Bad,
there's
but I don't know about Game of Thrones.
It's just not my thing.
Sopranos.
All of that.
Do you know what it is though? You see with The Wire, you know, remember like The Wire was you never really knew where they're taking it with the multi-tier storyline.
Yeah,
that was like the same kind of setting of The Wire. They were just like, that you never really know where they're gonna take it. You got
is Game of Thrones similar?
Yeah. It's that there's so much going on. But again, I get it. It's not for everyone, but it's a top tier show.
Okay. But anyway, like I think we learned so much, but I think we're starting to wrap up now. How you looking to stay on top of things? Like how you continue to learn, gain knowledge, obviously passing it on. What is the key? Like how you staying on top of things? Like
like you don't know what you don't know. So I'm always like I'm always telling people, yo, give me new pages to follow. Let me see what other people are doing. Let me now start to network, involve with other people. Like I said, build my personal sort of platform. So whether that be through YouTube, social media, or potentially a show, and then just man, bigger and better things. And also then away from that, the educational side of things, to give back. And just like the space, there's so much to do with it. I love it. So it's just whatever there is to do, like hit me up, see if we can work together at joint ventures. You know what I mean? Do some business.
Well, you see, Serge, you go on.
Nah, God, I was just gonna ask a simple question. Has writing down your goals helped you?
Sometimes I think I shy away from that. Because I think if I write down stuff, I like to do. I'm a man that loves to tick stuff off. I've got in my notes. I've got it every day. I've got a to-do list. Like, so this is in my to-do.
It helps you, know?
And I have so at the end of the day,
for me, it's helping me at
so
work right now.
from whenever I get up till all the way throughout the day, whether that is picking up the washing or whatever it is, that I know that I've ticked that off. I've achieved stuff today. Like, so it's just literally that I've done all that stuff, and it could be from closing a deal to picking up the washing to whatever it is to go shopping, but to getting those done. The long-term stuff, I feel like as long as I can go to sleep at night and look at myself in the mirror and be like, you've worked today, the long-term goals will come. And if I fixate on them, like sometimes you become blurred and tunnel vision, and you forget to enjoy the journey as well.
That's why I don't write them. That's my personal reason I'm writing them.
I don't write goals, but I just write. Sometimes if I feel like the day's gonna be overwhelming, I kind of write down.
So daily. So again, bite size, break them down all day. Stuff that I know that I can achieve in a day, in a week, in a month, I'll write that down. Stuff that like I'm trying to do, I might just have something to be like a general note. Like, so I've got, for example, that I want to go at some point in time and go and do my master's in property development. Okay. Not because I need to, but I just find it interesting, and it's just like
stay educated.
I want to just like the same reason I'll read certain books. Like I'll be like, I might see a book and be like, oh, do you know, I need to read that at some point. It's not like a long-term goal, but it's just a personal reminder.
Do you know what? This guy read my notes. I think he tapped into my phone because I was going to ask, what's the biggest area that you're curious about in your role right now? And like, what are some of the things that you're researching right now? Do you know what I mean? Like, because I think he's touched into it a little bit previously, but I might as well ask it because I was like, you know what? I've got to ask this. What's some of the...
So some people that I've seen, like obviously they like, that have been in my position and they've gone and done, like shout out people like Anthony Laville, I can't think, he's probably the first one that I think of, has done some amazing projects. Like they're doing like 200 units in Birmingham. So those large scale developments, there's a lot more to them. Like there's a lot more different intrinsic parts of the development process. Now, understanding that from a top level, because you don't actually get involved in so much, because you're doing such high level projects, you employ the right people to do the right things, but actually understanding the process to be able to potentially, deliver one of those projects is something I'm currently working on. And like I said, literally through Instagram, a guy called Adewale, like he's worked on probably like half a £1 billion worth of projects, like as a for a company. But the insights that he gives me, the information, the conversations that we have, every time I speak with him, I feel like you said, like I've just learned, like I've taken away so much. And like also he'll big me up and tell me, no, I'm teaching him stuff that kind of recharges my own confidence when I start, because sometimes you start to learn something and you realize I don't know a lot of stuff. But then when there's somebody there telling you, no, bro, trust me, you got this, it's just finding that balance.
With people investing up north, like in terms of like a lot of people are running away from, obviously maybe because of affordability, they can't afford it. What's your take on that? Like, what's your advice on people, sort of investing in properties, but like more up north, outside London?
If it's not feasible for you to do the deal in London, then, I'd say, it's definitely, I know a lot of people that have made a lot of money investing outside their comfort area. Had a guy on called Luke from Luke's Properties recently. He's based in South London, focuses on South Wales, completely different area, but happened to have a family member there, learnt the area, learnt the industry, learnt the pricing. But you should need to understand that you need to, one, build a team, because it needs to be within touching distance that you can kind of manage the project or have somebody in place that can manage it. You need to know what you're doing, but it's the same as any deal. Do the numbers stack? And do the numbers stack because they actually stack or because you want them to stack?
Okay, do the numbers stack because you want them to stack. Or is it just because I feel like sometimes people just want to get themselves in a property ladder, doesn't matter where, they don't really do their research. What if I want to buy a property today? I know you're not a mortgage broker, but just for Gem's purposes, as someone who's tuning in now and then looking at you as a property expert, I'm a young guy or I'm ready to buy a property, what are the things what are the steps I should be taking apart from obviously applying for the mortgage? What should I be looking out for if I want to buy a property now?
So the main key, not so much as a step,
Yeah.
but the main gem and the thing that I live by, that I will have my hat on this point, is you don't make the money when you sell that property. You make it when you buy it. If you buy at the right price, you'll make money. So if you've managed to find somewhere that you can maybe see something that somebody else has missed that has added potential, you insulate yourself from all those mistakes you could make, from all those things that could go wrong because you've already bought at the right price. And any property that you buy, there's something called like a ceiling price in the area. It doesn't matter what you do. You can put a gold-plated toilet. It's not worth more than that certain price within a given area. So buying at the right price is the main thing. So don't be overly embellished. Be realistic with what the back end of those numbers are. Use the resources that you have available, your Zooplas, your Rightmoves, your different portals to see what stuff is sold for. Do your comps, speak to builders to work out what your costs are going to be if you have to refurbish the property. If you're just buying a property but no refurb, and you're looking at an area to invest in that you hope is going to go up in value, one thing I say is follow the money. And what I mean by that is like look at infrastructure. Where are the big boys, your Berkeley Homes, your Barrett Homes, where are they building? Because they spend, millions on R&D to make, like on research to make sure they're doing stuff in the right areas, because they're doing a lot of build to rent accommodation they're going to hold for the long term. So if you've got these people that are spending thousands and millions on making sure they do the right projects, chances are you follow those and you'll get the, do you know what I mean, the kickback from their projects.
Okay, so basically, like I said, if you want to buy a property, listen to that.
What he said.
What he said. What he said. Now, do you know what it is? I don't know about you, GK, but I've learned so much in terms of, and one of the things I liked about this is the way, I don't think you realize that you have something, bro. And I mean,
I told this is you. Like this is you.
I think beyond the, I think there's definitely room for you in the TED Talks and like I said,
hit him up
with the YouTube. I know you're keeping on and you're doing the Insta Live. So if after you watch this EP and you want to learn more about property, but KAZY, go on his Insta. I think you're regularly doing lives there. You're regularly doing
every
tour.
Sunday 6 p.m. we got a live on the Insta.
Yeah.
Every week have somebody different within the space. A
Exactly.
broker, a builder, an architect, an accountant. Somebody to help you kind of pull together. Your knowledge.
Yeah. So if there's more that you want to know, that's the place that you go. But I think even recently you just posted one of your projects and you're smiling. You're like, yeah, you made really, really good money. Like, so we want to know, like, how much you made?
Do you know what's so bad? This is, if you go through almost like the last 10 projects I've done, it's on my gram. I'll tell you how much I made, and I'll tell you how much I spent.
How much you made?
Well, which one? Give you
I just for the people watching this, like you put up a Saturn, so I've seen it. I'm like, okay, this looks good. How much you made?
Oh, which one? Oh, I
think is you converted a 1 bed into a 3 bed. So
let me.
He's joined for the phone right now. We're just gonna wait. He's joined for the Instagram
bro.
and also looking at the figures right now. Please stay tuned.
Like,
we're gonna find out.
Gonna be a minute.
I feel like this is the countdown conundrum. I gotta get
gonna
it
be
real quick.
We're just Hey, but whilst he's doing that, man, congratulations, you blue boys. Like, whilst he's finding the thing, don't talk to me about my team,
we don't talk too much.
You're not gonna get smoked anyway, but
cool.
we're just waiting for the property. Like
That one, I give you some deal breakdowns of it.
yeah, let's go. I love numbers. Like,
So purchase price was 110,000
for the 1 bed.
for the 1 bed.
Okay.
Sorry, 210,000.
I was about to say 100.
Sorry,
Please,
sorry.
where?
Point me to that direction,
My
man.
bad. So 210,000. Stamp duty, works fees, and other expenses were about 65,000, taking us to 275,000. We had selling costs of agency fees of 14,000. Sorry, finance costs of 14,000, selling costs of another 4,000, sell price was 460,000. So that meant the profit from that was 166,011 pounds.
That's big numbers. That's nice.
Is that a flip? No.
That's a flip.
That's a flip.
Oh, you're learning. Oh, yeah, he's learning. You see that? He's just learned something new today. That's flip.
But I think with the flips and with any deal you do, like the money you make, is good. The number obviously is a great number. But like the figure of like your return on investment is almost more important because your capital is finite. You don't have unlimited money. For every pound you spend over here, that's a £1 you can't spend over there and another deal you haven't done.
Yeah.
So it's not just looking at, okay, did I make £10?
Yeah.
Because if you made £10 from £10, that's great.
Yeah.
But if you made £10 from £1,000, your return on investment has gone from being 100% to 1%. So you need to look at what you're making. So for example, that deal, that figure's not right. I think that deal made over 100% return on investment. But it's all about, like, you know, when we do most deals, we try and target a minimum of 35%.
Yeah.
So if we spend 100,000, we want to make 35,000 back, give or take.
Yeah. Just a quick one, just a last one. You know, someone that's got a right to buy, they take out right to buy. Do they need a deposit or
Yeah, so they'll still need like a deposit, generally speaking.
a big one, or because there's talks about how the discount is the deposit or something like that. Like, I don't know.
Again, like right to buy is not my area of expertise. So I
okay.
would always say, like with anything, like if
Do your research.
you need legal advice, go to a solicitor. If you need like
Mortgage advice, go to a broker. You're more
and
on
if you
a-
need accountant, like accountancy advice, go to those people because somebody
You're
like
more
myself,
just-
somebody like me might be chopping it up, but I don't want to give somebody imperfect information.
Okay.
They don't go and do the research and then sitting back waiting on that basis and then find out a year down the line or 6 months. So there's so much free research, even down to an accountant or a broker that's on YouTube. Like there's a guy called a girl called Sharina. She's a finance expert. Done a live with her.
Shout out
A guy
Sharina.
called Sam Norris did a live with him. So a couple people that work in the field. Reach out to them both on Instagram.
It just kind of happens, isn't it? Because you do property,
Your
everyone
people just
automatically thinks.
Nah, no,
Yeah,
you
like,
know
if-
it.
oh.
Yeah, nah, I just I had to, even me when I was obviously doing my research and, you know, planning for today, I just knew that I had to ensure that I'm not addressing you as a mortgage broker. Like, I had to make sure, like,
Property developer.
property developer, like, you know, so
Something different.
Obviously, you work and but for real, like, listen, I know, listen, I don't want to keep KAZY for too long in terms of, like, I know you just broke your fast, but it's like, I feel like we can keep going in terms of, like, there's so much, like, knowledge that
my
this
brain's
guy's got.
fried,
The brain fried, and someone's watching this, like, no, ask him one more.
All right,
Listen,
man.
like I said,
I'll come back.
like, for real, if we need to do this, if we need to do this in a 2-part, 3-part, whatever, let us know. Do you know what I mean? Like, hit us up on the gram, hit up KAZY, let us know what you thought about the interview and what questions you have, and if anything, we might even do a live on
just
on the
flood in
Insta,
your
innit?
questions, innit?
Flood in-
Just bring in your
That's
questions.
the thing. Send your
Literally,
questions
send
in.
your
If
questions.
anything that you want to ask KAZY, send it on the DMs. Be my _. It's _ be my guest show. And then obviously, if you send in your questions in regards to what you want to know, we'll schedule in a live with KAZY, and then he will answer your questions, man.
Yeah, man.
Because like I've taken so much. Trust me, you guys are even. I'm gonna watch this and again and again and again.
I'm not gonna lie.
I'm gonna like. There's so much that
Pause.
I've taken in, and there's so many that you've done out there as well. That, you know, just so much knowledge. But I want to see you on the platform of the TED Talks, man. Do you know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
Like, but you know, like, just lastly, like, what about the guys that want to do drip but they don't own anything, man? Like that for me, it never sits well for me. Like, you know, you're doing drip, but you got
there's
no
nothing there.
assets, but all liabilities, no assets. It's
Okay,
never
so
like, you know.
Let me play the other side to that.
Yeah.
Yeah. You see, life is about enjoyment, and if you're doing, like, so for example, if you're doing drip to get girls in a club, or you're doing drip because you feel forced to because your counterpart, your age mate is doing drip. But some people are just fashion people and they genuinely love drip. Like, what if, I don't know, bro, you love, like, whatever you love, like, you collect, I don't know, whatever it is, fridge magnets, and you want to spend $5 on some mad fridge magnet because that's what makes you happy.
Yeah.
Bro, do it. But I think the problem is most people don't do it for them. They do it for other
do it
people.
for other people. So do it for you. Be you, man.
But then the other side of it is, bro, like, drip and like streetwear and luxury clothing is becoming like art. You buy the right pieces and it's going up
laughing.
in prices.
Yeah.
You should
Like,
resell.
well, you see the resellers, like these trainers here,
Yeah,
bro,
I've seen them.
they're like they came out at like what, like £100.
Yeah.
Like you'd have, like, I think I paid resale for them at like £300 or whatever it is. And now if you want to get them now, you got to pay $450, $550 to get them.
Air Forces have gone
I see a man trying to sell Air Forces for 270.
270, bro.
Yeah.
Someone
That's
needs to find them and slap them.
dumb.
That's
No,
stupid.
bro, there's
That's
trainers
dumb.
like, do you remember growing up? Obviously, you're like my age.
Yeah.
Like Dunks were a £50 trainer, yeah.
Dunks are the J1s, isn't it? Basically.
Nah.
Dunks
What's the
are
difference?
They Dunks are just the
It's-
low
yeah.
Dunks, like, so just plain
Yeah,
Nike.
J1s, you know? No.
Nah, there's a bit of a difference.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so like the plain Dunks. Like, I'll show you if you pull up a Dunks on your phone to share them. Yeah?
Dunks, alright.
Like the Dunks, like the plain Dunks, like they're like £90 retail.
Yeah.
the colors like that come out like they've all got a name now. Like you got like the Kentuckys, the Syracuse, whatever they're called, different colors. The orange one, the blue ones.
What?
Try and catch them right now.
What?
And,
These things?
but the low
That-
ones, no.
Wait, that's J1s, isn't it? Okay, yeah. So what? How much? You saying they're going for
They're
money?
going for crazy money. Like the same things that if you buy them, if you can manage to get your hands on them for retail,
Oh
it
yeah,
off.
they had that the
Raffles, bro.
They had the Ben and Jerry's one. This
Like,
one.
so those
these
ones, they all might be. What are they saying for? They want for them now?
2,000 £2,000.
But they came out
That's
at 250.
That is dumb.
So
Right.
in the same way people are
Stupid.
trading crypto, you could trade drip, and they have a resale value. You can wear them and still sell them for
Okay.
£1,500.
Yo, wow,
dumb.
that's dumb, bro. Like,
that
it's
is
like, do you know what? What I'm getting from it is like, listen, find the right avenue, and you can make a flip from whatever it is that you love and whatever it is that people love. If the demand is there and you
That's-
can supply it, then
that-
you see what I did there. You see what I did?
Economics,
Economic. No, but for real, find. If the demand is there, you can supply it. Yeah, why not? Like, I'm not mad at people that drip, but I'm just saying, don't, like you said, just don't do it if you're doing it not for you, but you're doing
like
it
anything.
for.
It's the same thing as buying
Yeah,
a property.
yeah,
Don't
yeah.
buy a property because your friend bought one. It's not the right time. Don't buy clothes because whatever. Just do what makes you happy,
yeah,
bro.
for
Live
real.
life, enjoy it, man. We only get the
Yeah.
one.
Hey, listen, on that note, man, we are about to sign out. Listen, thank you very much for tuning in. It's been a pleasure, man. Obviously, like I said, like, you know, GK, what are you telling me? Like, I've left with so much, like so much. It's just, what are you telling me?
Bro, I got a question.
Yo, go ahead.
How often do you man wash your bed sheets?
He's a luxury man, so every other day.
Yeah, I just got that mad. I don't know what the mattress is called, but I just got a new mattress. You know what? You know because
Sounds
I really,
expensive.
bro. No,
Sounds-
but-
it sounds-
but-
it sounds-
but-
it sounds expensive.
Why have I had for years £500 trainers and like £90 mattress?
Yeah.
But this new mattress that I got, it's so mad.
Game changer.
Yeah.
Game changer. I can't wait to go.
It's
and
a
sleep.
memory
Like,
foam.
Let's lock up. It's not even memory phone. It's the stiff one, the one like the hotel one. Hey,
I don't like them stiff ones, though. I can't lie, man. Hurts your neck.
realize the memory foam ones are
oversold.
what does your back. They're too soft.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, they're squishing in them. You gotta have
yeah.
that serious lumbar support.
How often you washing yours, bro? You're asking the question, bro.
Bro, like, I change them like every week.
Do you?
Yeah.
I heard certain man is still sleeping in that pillowcase from 2006.
Every week.
The thing's
so.
all dark and that. That's all got.
Every week, fam.
Nah, it's been. I've definitely
Nah.
enjoyed this one. This
Big
one,
up KAZY.
this one was educational. Big up KAZY. And I appreciate the
family.
journey, man. I appreciate the time. Again, every single guest that's been here since we've moved into this new facilities, we appreciate you. And shout out the original hitters. Like guys can see, like, we haven't had the full set for quite a while.
Yeah.
So hopefully in the next few episodes, you're gonna see all of us again back here. But it's been like a educational one. So like I said, hit
I
us
learned
up
a lot.
with your questions. And we will try scheduling live with KAZY on the Instagram.
I'm with that.
But in the meantime, any questions that you do have, send it to us or go directly to Property by KAZY. Again, he's on a swipe up Instagram. He's got 30K plus and it's growing. So
gonna
your
be a
thing
bit
might
difficult.
might just be filtered. So your best bet is to just, like I said, go there, watch the content, and if you got any questions, direct it to us. And we'll try, you know, get it answered to the best of our ability. And any one thing I liked is any young guy or women out there, or any person looking to get into the property game and, you know, want to learn and this and that, just go for it. One thing I picked up is passion. If you're passionate about what you want to do, if you need to do your research, learn, and take risk and go for it, and then, you know, sky's the limit. So yeah, man, it's been a special one for BMG, man.
Definitely. Appreciate you coming on, bro.
Yeah, I
Thank
appreciate
you for
you,
having
man.
me, guys.
Yeah, listen,
Appreciate it.
it's been a pleasure. Peace out. Yeah, we see you next week again.
Over
man.
and out, man.
Yeah, over and out. Done. Hey, listen, my head's frying right now. I'm hearing those numbers. I'm just going.